farm.
Okay, we're up here with Carl. October, what is it, 6th or 7th?
9th or 10th.
9th or 10th. Oh man, I'm a day off. Hey Carl, you got some nice apples there. Tell us about your apples.
So we hey, how you doing again? We grow apples ever since I was a kid. My dad was an apple farmer, so we grow over 50 varieties here. So this.
Oh, that's a good test question for the kids. You have over 50 varieties.
Yeah.
Maybe I should put that in some notes for them,
right.
huh?
And there's about 2,000 varieties that are logged in a big old book in some horticultural department somewhere. So there's a lot of varieties around the world. And this happens to be, we're in October, mid-October now. This is a Fuji. Fuji takes a lot more days to grow than some other varieties.
Oh, that's why these are still on the trees. Some of the other ones don't have apples on the trees anymore. So what's a Fuji good for, eating or cooking?
It's a very sweet apple, so it'd be a very good eating apple. Nice and crunchy, stays crunchy a long way into the winter too.
How many pounds of apples do you think are on that tree?
That tree right there probably has about 200 pounds of apples.
And what are you getting per pound?
We get $1.69 in the farm stand.
So $1.69 times 200. Wow, there's some great math for you kids. Wow, we got some good things going on here, Carl.
Right.
And by the way, Carl, thanks very much for letting me come up here. I told Carl earlier that this was going to be my last in the series of videos because everything's going to die for the winter. Everything's going to go to sleep. It doesn't die. I shouldn't say die. It goes to sleep. What do you call it? Hibernate, Carl?
They harden off. So they're starting to harden off now. What that means is the new growth has stopped growing for about a month. And so these leaves will detach themselves. A little chemical will actually release those leaves and they'll fall to the ground and make nice organic matter for the soil.
Okay, so we're putting it right back in. Now, do you have to fertilize these trees, Carl?
I do very little fertilizer once they get to production. We use quite a bit of fertilizer to get the tree going and make sure it's like a little baby. You got to treat it like a baby. Babies eat all the time. So, but once they get up to bearing, you want to slow the tree down, and that'll force it into a more productive bearing. Because you don't want to over fertilize, then you just get all new growth and no new fruit buds.
Okay. Now the temperature, does that make a big difference since we're getting cooler nights? And how about we're all getting less sunlight too because it's fall?
So one thing you got to remember is water freezes at 32. The apples have sugar in them. So that means it's in a colloidal state, we call it. So the colloidal state is the sugary state of the liquid, which means it'll actually take a lot more cold to get it. So an apple can take it down to 25. And any lower than that, it'll start damaging the apple. It'll grow, kind of bounce out of it, but it'll be spongy.
Now I saw some of your tomatoes. Tomatoes can't go below 0, can they?
No, tomatoes is a hot weather crop, so it cannot take it as soon as it sees 32. So the branches on a tomato, the leaves on a tomato have very little sugar, so 29 will kill those.
Awesome, awesome.
Looks like a torch went over them. They're black.
Yeah, I saw that there's black spots in the tomatoes too. Yeah. So Carl, how many trees do you have here? You say you got over 50 varieties.
So we got 30 acres of trees. There's about 125 trees per acre. So we probably have close to 4,000 apple trees.
But not all of them are going to give you 200 pounds of tomatoes like that one though.
Not necessarily. And you know, a tree like this has probably actually got too many apples. And when you have too many apples, you result in some small apples, which is happening on this tree here.
So why didn't you pick those earlier? Is this pick your own?
This is a pick your own orchard.
So, okay.
And Fujis tend to hold on to the tree for about 3 weeks.
All right, excellent. So this is your big time of the year. This is your money crop right now.
Right. We're actually coming down the back side of it, which, you know, 3 weeks ago we were all hands on deck, everything we could do from sun up to sundown. The days are getting shorter and colder, and to get the crew going, it's like starting up your computer. It takes a little while to warm up.
How many people do you employ here on a day like today in October?
So field workers, we have 13, and then we have to have sales, because if you grow it, you have to sell it. So we have to have a sales team. We have rotating sales team, about 15 people.
So what, about 8 per shift? So you got 8 people on at a time?
Because we have farmers markets down in the Boston area, and we have a farm store here.
Awesome. Looks a lot nicer than it did when I first started videotaping you. When was that? Was that in March?
Right.
March. We came up here to see Carl growing his hydroponics. Now you still have hydroponic tomatoes in the greenhouse. I thought you were going to go to cucumbers there.
We were, but lack of labor.
Okay.
And like I said, everything was very productive. Irrigation was a big part. We had 2 guys, that's all they did was irrigate.
Oh, wow.
It was so hot and dry. Then we finally ran out of water, so that kind of became a moot point.
And we still have no rain.
Yeah.
This is terrible.
Yeah, if we don't get rain before the ground freezes, we're going to be in serious trouble, because if we get rain after the ground freezes, it just runs off.
And we need that rain in the fall to moisten the ground, because the trees need that in the springtime. So fall rain results in springtime tree growth.
Right.
Whoa.
And the bad thing about a drought also, and when you're growing fruits and vegetables, is we have a lot of woods around, and the wild animals, the deer and the chipmunks, they can't get any food in nature out in the woods because it's very crispy and dry. So they come into our irrigated, fertilized fields and find nice food. So
they eat a lot of your apples?
right, it makes it, in vegetables, it makes it harder when there's a drought in a lot of ways.
Oh, yeah.
The lack of water.
Yeah.
But the animals are having a tough time too.
Yeah. Hey, Carl, I thank you very much. I'm going to kind of go around here. I'm going to have to buy some apples. What type of apple do you suggest for a good apple pie?
My favorite is Spencer.
Spencer.
Or Northern Spy right now. The Northern
Spencer
Spy.
or Northern Spy? Do you know an orchard around? Do you know any orchards around here where I could buy some Spencers or Northern Spy?
We got them all.
Do you? I don't have to go somewhere else?
No, of course not.
Awesome.
50 varieties. You're going to hit the right thing.
50 varieties.
We got an apple for everybody.
Awesome. And you know what? I'm not even going to pay them at the stand. I'm going to pay you, and I'm going to pay you double what they're worth, because you know what? Or double what you're asking, not double what they're worth, because your apples are worth double what you're charging because of the labor you put in. So, Carl, I'm going to flip you a $50 bill and grab some apples in a little while. And then you can take your wife out to dinner tonight with that money, couldn't you?
We can't go out to dinner anymore.
That's right, COVID. We don't go to dinner anymore.
I've been using DoorDash, and that's not an advertisement. That's just like, wow, if old farmer, they come deliver to me. So.
Yes, yes. Hey, Carl, thanks very much. We'll see you later.
All right,
by the way,
guys.
Carl.
Yeah, nice to see you guys.
Here, do me a favor.
Good luck.
Here. You guys haven't seen me yet. I'm Mr. McDuffie, your teacher, the guy behind the camera. So I figured I'd just do this. I hope you enjoy this. I think I'm done videotaping. I've shown you about apples. Oh, I didn't show you this. You gotta, this is the trick. Oh, it fell on the ground. You gotta clean it on your shirt. That's the big thing. And then you go like this. Nice, sweet Fuji apple. Now the problem with apples is I can only eat one of these, because I got a 2-hour ride home and I gotta be able to make it. Apples help you go poop. It gives you good fiber. Don't forget that. An apple a day helps keep the doctor away. By the way, I'm retiring. You're not gonna see me doing this anymore next year. So you kids have a good time. Drive slow, speed safely. Thanks, Carl.
All right.